Good morning, Yankees fans. And I'm Ken. Welcome to the Ugly Truth. Today we are going to have our usual open panel. So please feel free to hop up and give your opinion. We're going to do the post-mortem on last night's game and talk about today's upcoming game. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about us being down 0-2 in the series, and we're trying to redeem ourselves by taking the final game of the series. I want to give a shout out to everyone that's here. We have Pito Will, Jonathan, Dev Finch, Real Bill, FJ, and Lou. I'm going to drop the address, Control C. I am dropping the link right now, Jonathan, and you should see it. I will tell you, I was at league bowling last night, and I was listening to the game, and it was not a pleasurable experience, as bowling wasn't either. We got our asses handed to us, and the team got handled pretty mildly last night. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hi. Yeah, the last especially yesterday was not great. Pitching wise, Bodone. It seems like the pitching has this one inning that just blows up the entire game in the last 2 days. And I don't know why that is, but it always seems like it's just everything goes downhill after one specific inning, and
Well, yesterday was a cold day, the coldest we've seen this season. It was starting to rain early in the game, and Rodon, frankly, he didn't have a feel for his pitches. I was surprised that his fastball velocity, his number one pitch, was sitting at 91, 92 miles an hour.
I'm wondering if that weather he didn't warm up as long as he needed to.
It's a possibility. It didn't seem to me during the first inning and 2/3, actually 1/3, I guess, he had a feel for any of his pitches. He was working everything he did. Then he fell back to the fastball slider combo to try to get something working there, and eventually he did. I mean, if you look at Rodon's stat lines, he pitched 6 innings for us. He did what we needed him to do. He only gave up 3 hits, 4 earned runs, all 4 runs coming in the first 2 innings.
The other problem is the Yankees could not get to Gallen. Gallen really made them shut them down before giving up. The whole offense was shut down before hitting before the 7th inning, really.
Well,
we got Volpe got that home run, which was a little bit too late.
Shout out to Lou and Sean. Rodon did have 5 strikeouts, and he had 4 walks, which sort of sucks. But he retired 12 in a row. When he got on it, he got on it. And long and short, the Diamondbacks had 3 freaking hits. With our offense, you tend to think that we would be able to come up with something. However, sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you. And
Yeah.
Zach Gallen gave the Yankees a master class in how to handle a lineup without having overpowering stuff.
Yeah,
His, histo-
Had very little plate discipline yesterday. I saw him swinging at balls that were out of the strike zone. He was reaching down at balls that were near his feet by the time they crossed the plate.
well, the aggravating point for me was the second inning. We had runners at second and third with one out. And in typical form of last year, we did not push a run across. Uh, Gallen historically has used his knuckle curve like a knife. He could throw that damn pitch for strike anytime he wants in any count he wants. And he gave the Yankees an education on how to chase balls out of the strike zone. He had a career high 13 strikeouts against us. He pitched, what was it, 6 2/3 innings, 101 pitches in the game last night. I mean, he was fantastic. And
Well, the
past
other
the second
problem
inning, he
the
didn't
other
give up a
problem is
hit.
the bottom of the order didn't do anything. Yesterday, I think that was Dominguez at bat where he had second and third and one out. I believe Dominguez was up. And Dominguez couldn't. I think he struck out in that at bat. I mean,
He did.
he needs to. Of course, it's the beginning of the season, but he needs to make contact, even when he gets out, even when he's struggling. As long as he can, if he can get the bat on the ball and get a fly ball out that drives in a run, that's what his job should be. The Dominguez last night was, I'm gonna give Dominguez the whole season like we did Volpe. Let him see what he can do before really passing judgment. I don't want to make a judgment of him for one game because I want Dominguez to succeed and be the everyday outfielder. And
See that.
it is unfair to beat up on a young kid.
See that. Stephen B has hopped in. How's it going?
Yeah.
Uh,
Did anybody else join the stream?
yeah, Stephen B hopped in, and so did Sean. I'm dropping the link again for anybody who wants to come up. Uh, honestly, yesterday Boone was criticized for leaving Dominguez in or taking him out and
Yeah,
pinch hitting with.
I agree with that because I think Dominguez needs to learn and he needs to play a whole game. They can't take him out just because they don't like something. Anyway,
Well,
I have about a minute left before I need to get going to my next thing, but I can continue to chat if someone wants to join up and take my place.
all right. Well, if you got to go, you got to go. It's not a
Yeah,
problem.
I got about a
Uh,
minute left. We can talk.
the
I just have to go downstairs.
Boone left Dominguez in yesterday, and of course he struck out for the last out in the bottom of the ninth against Puck. And I looked at some of the Twitterverse comments, and there were a lot of questions on why didn't Boone pinch hit for Dominguez? Dominguez doesn't hit left-handers well. He hits horribly from the right side. Well, that was the exact same logic that they applied yesterday. So Boone is either damned if you do or damned if you don't. He's
Well,
not going to
look,
make a right
that's the
decision.
problem with early in the season, and especially fans who are emotional. If you don't perform in New York, you have to get fired immediately. Or if you make the wrong decision, and look, there has been times where yes, Boone has made the wrong decision. I am also critical of him, especially in the World Series uh, when he made some of the decisions that were very questionable in the World Series. That I think the Yankees could have won another game or two with simple decisions, but you know that's also a decision they needed to decide in July at the trade deadline. But not everybody
Long
gets
and
it right.
short, it's hindsight is 2020, and
Yeah.
you will always have people, especially in Yankee universe, questioning decisions.
I mean, we have the NFL draft coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure everybody will expect the number one pick to be a quarterback, and if that quarterback doesn't perform immediately after the first game next year, people will not like it. Now, of course, there's going to be I'm sure there's a lot of trade in football, but it's a very similar scenario with the Yankees, because if the Yankees make a decision and it doesn't work out, everybody is so critical.
I mean, if you look at it, we are 5 freaking games into the season,
5 games,
the
yeah.
first week. See that Ray has joined us. Welcome, Ray. It is a long season. We have a lot of series to play.
Well, here's the more positive aspect of this whole scenario. If you see the struggles now in the beginning of the season, you can fix them, so when the games really count in August, September, and October, you can make the changes, and they won't be a problem. They will be they could be fixed before they blow another World Series. That's the positive outcome of all of this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have to get going. Enjoy the stream again. I'll talk to you next time.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate you hopping up and giving your inputs. I mean, honestly, Rodon had a rocky start. He ended up retiring 12 batters in a row. The Yankees only used one bullpen arm. Yoendis Gomez came in. He pitched 3 innings. The numbers don't look spectacular. He didn't give up a run. He only had 1 strikeout. He did give up 3 walks. He did what the bullpen needed. He preserved arms for today. We've got a 9-game run where we don't have a day off. And we're going to need to save some of those bullets. We have Sean hopping up. Are you ready, brother? And we're bringing Sean up. All in all, the pitching was adequate yesterday. We did what we needed to win. Where we fell short were our bats. Yankees hitters struck out a total of 16 freaking times last night. We had 14 the night before. Patience at the plate seems to have dissipated over these last couple of games. We only mustered a total of 6 hits. The highlight hits were the Wells double in the second, where he almost took Jazz's head off, and Anthony Volpe's heroic 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th. The thing that sticks in my mind is the runners at second and third with 1 out, and Gallen striking out the next 2 batters.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 games, we've just been looking uncomfortable against the Gallen and Burns. For whatever reason, Burns had our number, but and Gallen, it just when I was watching Gallen pitch last night, and I was on stream with him, it was reminding me of with Papelbon. Remember with Boston, the knuckleball?
Yep.
He would just give us fits, and it was just like we would just be uncomfortable, and we get a few hits, and then we really didn't get much. And yeah, I mean that was kind of what it is. We failed in that opportunity when we had second and third, one out, and then. But I mean, you could tell even the check swings like Judge. Judge barely ever looks uncomfortable in the box. Even if he does strike out, he's usually comfortable. But Gallon had it. You got to tip your hat to Gallon because he had some nasty stuff.
Well, honestly, the Diamondbacks have two number one starters, Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen. We knew that it was going to be a tough role in this series with the pitchers that we were facing. And something that I brought up yesterday, if we didn't get to Gallen before the end of the third inning, it probably wasn't going to happen because he gets stronger the longer he goes.
Right.
And he like I said, he had a master class in the knuckle curve. Bringing up a comment from Real Bill P. Bats dominated a nice news cycle for 3 straight days. Notice I haven't heard a single word about those damn bats in the last 2 games.
Yeah. And there's 2 reasons. One, the last 2 games we've been shut down pretty much. And then the other one is so many people across the league, almost every team is either ordering them or using them. So that cancels the narrative. Oh, it's the Yankees. The Yankees are cheating. But you can't say they're cheating if A, the commissioner approved the bats, and B, every team is using it, or a lot of players on every team is using them.
Yep. Last night, after they pulled Gallen, we started to get to their bullpen. Diamondbacks pulled 3 pitchers again last night. Joe Manaply, Ryan Thompson, and A.J. Puck. Manaply pitched an inning. He was clean. He had a strikeout. Didn't give up any hits, any runs or walks. Ryan Thompson only mustered a third of an inning. He was credited with 2 runs, 2 earned runs. He had a strikeout and a walk. And A.J. Puck came in for 2/3 of an inning, and he got charged with 1 earned run. He had a strikeout. Dominguez the last, and the lefty gave up the 3-run bomb to Anthony Volpe in the bottom of the ninth. A little bit too late, but it happens. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the totals for the Diamondbacks yesterday, they had 3 goddamn hits.
Yeah, but it was
in the first and second innings.
Yeah, for Rodon, he gave us 6 innings. He battled through for the 6 innings, and he 4 walks. A few strikeouts. But the problem was, he was battling the rain at first inning, and I was like, oh, and you could tell almost right away, it's like the mound. He was having issues with the mound. So then, and then he didn't have his A stuff. So it just kind of, but then he righted the ship, and then he got 12 consecutive outs, and he gave us 6. He gave us a fighting chance. He kept it at 4 runs.
Hey, John, welcome to the stream. FJ, welcome. I mean, in true Michael K fashion, he made a comment during the game when Lourdes Gurriel came up. Oh, Lourdes is 0 for 30 versus Yankee pitching. What happens? He hits a home run the next pitch. It's like reverse the curse.
Right. Well, it's just like, Jonathan was talking about football, the NFL. You ever know when, it's in the CBS. They're big on it too. They'll be like, yeah, this field goal kicker, he hasn't missed the PAT or a field goal, and then what happens? It's
It's a
wide
miss.
right or wide left.
I mean, if you look last night, the only other two Diamondbacks that accounted for hits were Ketel Marte and Gabby Moreno.
Yeah.
And Moreno's was a shot off of Rodon's glove, so
Right.
that damn thing didn't even leave the infield. He handled business the way he needed to. He didn't get support. And Marte in the second got caught stealing. He actually had the bag stolen, but he slid past the bag and got tagged.
Yeah, it was kind of like his hand was tied. I mean, because when Volpe tagged his elbow, it's kind of. But yeah, well then he disconnected and smart by Volpe to keep the glove on, on Marte, because that's what you're trying to do, right? When you're fielding,
Yep.
You keep the tag. But some players will be like, hey, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Diamondbacks did not overpower us whatsoever in last night's game. It was the effectiveness of the Diamondback pitching and the ineffectiveness of our hitting.
Yeah. And like I said, it was just our hitters were just, I mean, except for the few bright spots where they just were uncomfortable. I don't know if they just weren't seeing the ball right because he had some nasty stuff, or he just had his A stuff, and we were just asleep for most of the game.
Well, today in our attempt to take the third game of the series and avoid being swept, the Diamondbacks are going to be throwing out Merrill Kelly versus Carlos Carrasco. Kelly is actually a number 2 starter sitting in the number 3 slot. Very effective pitcher. He is one of those types of guys that relies on location. Today is supposed to be a warm day. His first start of the season was against the Cubs, and he ended up picking the win up from them.
Yeah.
He went 5 1/3 innings. He gave up 3 hits, a run. He had 1 strikeout. He did have 4 walks. If you look at Kelly's repertoire, he has 6 pitches that he'll throw. His top 2 pitches are a 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour, and a sinker that he throws 20% of the time. He also has a slider, changeup, curve, and a cutter. If you were to classify Merrill Kelly as a pitcher, he is a high-low pitcher. He throws a lot of velocity stuff up high, and then will throw off-speed low and away. And that is one of the pitching countermeasures that I had said was going to impact people that use a torpedo bat. It's because he's going to put stuff on the outside of the plate, and if he's hitting his points, you're not going to get the fat part of the bat on.
Yeah.
For Kelly, he has a very high chase rate. He relies on people chasing balls out of the strike zone, and he has a very low walk rate. So he's going to be in the area when he's throwing, and the Yankees have to be able to pick up spin and track the progression of his pitches.
Right, but I think Merrill Kelly was the Arizona pitcher that Judge teed off that 3-homer game a couple of years ago. If I'm right, but if I'm wrong, I stand corrected.
Let's see. Judge's numbers against Kelly. He's had 4 at-bats. He has 1 home run,
Okay,
250 average with a 1,500 OPS.
Okay, so it wasn't
small sample size.
Yeah, it wasn't Merrill Kelly then, but it was one of the pitchers, but the high-low guys, because, I mean, Rodon's like that too, but if you can eliminate either the low ball, the low pitches, which we can't seem to lay off of them, or you lay off the high velocity and you say breaking ball, you can kind of, manage a game plan that way, but we got to get the bat to the ball.
And Stephen B hits it right on the head. If you were to do a comparison, Merrill Kelly is quite similar to former Yankee pitcher A.J. Burnett.
Yeah.
On the bump today, we have Cookie Carrasco taking it. Carrasco is generally a 4-pitch pitcher. Sinker is his primary, slider. He has a 94 mile an hour fastball, and he throws a changeup. Carrasco has not started for us this year, although he did come in scut work, and he has an ERA of 13.5. He gave up a couple of pretty big bombs.
Yeah.
He is an older pitcher. He is a number 5. His craft, if he's in control, he jams a lot of hitters. He has a soft contact rate against him. But it's a question of whether he is on point or not. Carrasco is the type of pitcher who can give up 8 runs, he gets slammed, or he could go 8 innings and give up no runs. It's what his control is like on any given day.
Yeah.
I don't believe that we should have bullpen restrictions with the exception of Yoendis Gomez because he did pitch the 3 last night. So our full bullpen should be available in the event that we have to take a bite out of a crap sandwich from poor pitching from Carrasco. Honestly, this was the game that I personally thought we would be competitive in the first 2 games with the possibility of a split. This was the game that worried me.
Yeah, and worry, but I think we can actually salvage it. But the thing that's going to tell me is, well, one, Carrasco has his command or not. But in that first 2 innings will really tell us. I mean, even the first 2 or 3 batters will really let us know where he's at. But but really our bats are just gonna have to come up and show up from the jump and try to do something, as at least salvage the game, and or salvage the, we lost the series already, but we salvaged this 3rd game, and then we go against Pittsburgh because it's like, you gotta do something and build up some kind of momentum going forward and consistency. I'm not too worried. I mean, it's the 2nd series of the season.
Of course.
But, I don't want to keep it where we're just like, oh, hey, we'll go to sleep. We'll get against good teams, but we'll crush on the bad teams, or teams that are really depleted, like the Brewers were both.
Well, I mean, the Brewers didn't have a plus staff. Diamondbacks have a plus staff. The Pirates have an even-keeled staff. And then when we go to Detroit, which is our follow-on series, I think we see them getting part of next week. They've got some killers in their rotation. So hence,
I mean, they got Flaherty and they got Scooble. Flaherty still got some in the tank, even for being an older pitcher. Supposedly,
actually, he's not older. I think he's only 30. He's not that old.
Well, okay, he's 30, but that's middle of the pack as far as age. I thought for some reason he was older, but I know people were trying to say his back was a little, but he handled us in the World Series, so.
He did. Actually, I think we handled ourselves too. But
that too, but we
if you
didn't
look
do anything.
if you look at our bats today, we don't have a large sample size against Merrill Kelly. Some of the ones that have seen him more, Cody Bellinger coming from the National League. He's got a couple of home runs off of him. He's hitting. He's had like 26 at bats, hitting close to 270 and a 944 OPS.
Right. And then you got Goldie.
You have Goldschmidt, who has 12 at bats. He's hitting 167 off of him. You have Trent Grisham, former Padre, in the same division. He's got like 23 at bats. He's hitting 174. He's hitting like crap against him. So,
yeah.
And the only other Yankee who has 5 at bats that's done well is Austin Wells, and he has a home run, 2 hits off of him, a couple of RBIs.
Yeah. But yeah, the Chicken Parm brothers.
And Judge has got a dinger.
Okay, yeah, and Judge got a dinger. But the Chicken Parm brothers they've been hitting on all cylinders. I mean, I know most of Volpe's hits are, homers, but he's making hard contact. And
actually, he's got 4 hits. He's got 4 home runs.
Right, 4 home runs, but and then he's had a few bloop ones, but they got caught. Some that fast outfielder tracked it down.
And if we're looking at the contra positive for Arizona, they don't have a large sample size of at bats against Carrasco.
Right.
Alex Thomas is hitting 500 off him, but he only has 2 at bats. One of the guys that has more at bats, Eugenio Suarez, the hero from Game 1. He's got 7 at bats. He's got a dinger against him, but he's hitting 235. Naylor has only got a couple of at bats against him. He's got a home run.
Well, I mean,
you look at Marte. Marte's got 12 at bats against him. He's hitting 333. So yes. Marte and Suarez are the ones with the most at bats, and their numbers aren't really astonishing.
Right, but there's kind of an advantage because with Naylor and Carrasco, we're both on the Guardians. So, but then again, that kind of evens it out. They both kind of know each other.
So, I mean, today we are definitely not outmatched with regard to the hitters. I expect more of a small ball type game, taking advantage of walks, advancing on bases and whatnot. Because, like I said, neither one of these pitchers is overpowering. They tend to be more crafty. So hence, I think it'll be a closer game.
Oh yeah, it's I think it'll be a closer game, and I think our offense will actually they will actually scrape across more runs or a few runs, across the plate early on. But it's a matter of they gotta be more patient at the plate and lay off them low strikes. I know that there's been bad umpire calls, but if it looks like he's about to hit the foot, hit the ground, don't swing.
The Yankees game today is going to be at 7:05, like the other 3. We have to catch a flight to get up to Pittsburgh to be ready for our Friday set. And it's going to be telecast on Yes. So you should be able to watch the games unless you're in a blackout area.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
After this, I'm gonna get ready, go to bed, and then nap. Cause I just got off work not too long ago, but I gotta be back at work at midnight.
Well, that's not a great rotation.
Nah, but it's kind of a I had to kind of defer the swing shift, because they had shuffled around. Then they didn't have enough people, so I was working every day for like a month and a half during the holidays, and then but then they hired enough people. But then one guy, he's got a family, and then and he's got young kids or whatever. So I was like, you know what, you can take the swing shift, and I'll just stick to the nights. And
Military life, brother.
hey,
All right. There is not a lot to go over with regard to last night's game. It's pretty clean cut, clear. Today's game seems pretty readily. Not a lot to go with on there. Are there any other topics that y'all want to come up and chat about? Don't be shy. Nobody's going to bite your head off for coming up.
but yeah, oh, the Val Kilmer news that the other day when he passed. I just kept thinking about I'm your Huckleberry. You know that scene from Tombstone when it's like Doc Holliday.
That was one of his better roles.
Oh yeah.
I remember him as a young kid in a movie called Real Genius.
Right. And then he was in Doors.
Yeah, I never saw that one. But I did see the Top Guns.
Yeah, the Top Guns. And then he was wasn't he Batman Forever with one of the villains? I think he played Riddler or something.
I'm not a big comic guy, so I never really watched or read the comic books. Or my sons are really into the MCU, and I've watched some of the stuff with them. But I'm an older guy. I'm not a comic guy. But, I'm gonna bring up a comment as soon as I find it. I can't remember who said it, but they were asking about the possible extension of Wells and Volpe, since a lot of these clubs are extending their young very early. For myself, I would tend to think that extending Wells is probably a smart idea. It appears that he is going to have a long future with the Yankees as our backstop. Volpe, I guess, it's his third season, so he's coming into his first ARB year. The question, I guess, would be: has he done enough? Has he proven enough to warrant being extended? Or are we going to keep him through his ARB years and let him walk at the end and hope that Lombard Jr. or Arias come in to take his slot?
Yeah, honestly, I think Wells and Volpe are two of the guys that are in the young core nucleus with the team. And I would personally extend them both long term on the cheap. But with Volpe, like you said, yeah, I mean, I know we got a couple prospects on it, but he's showing that he's got the high baseball IQ, and he hasn't shown the consistency enough, as far as offensively, but defensively, he's solid, but he hustles. He does a lot of the intangibles. Um, but yeah,
And we have a comment.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's about to say we have a comment from Stephen B. He'd do an extension on Wells. Volpe is still inconsistent. See how he does after the season.
Yeah, I would probably wait and not extend them now, but extend them like in the off season, especially if they both have like solid. Like if Volpe puts together a consistent offensive season, like 260, 270, but he's consistent throughout, then I would, and then extend them on the cheap, and then while you try to get because I mean, Lombard could come up and play third, fill that vacancy, because I mean right now Cabrera is our stopgap, but he's our Ben Zobrist guy,
We see Backs for Backs Coverage TV, Hop and Ed. I'll bring up Lou's comment first. Definitely no extension on Volpe. Max says, get it up there. Volpe's hitting 30 home runs this year. Extend him now.
Yeah, I mean, but the hard part about it is that these guys are playing two positions that have legends, that played before them, especially. And I mean, Volpe's coming off of what? How many shortstops between him and Jeter?
Well, you have Didi Gregorius, who did a fantastic job as a shortstop with us until he got hurt. We had
the stopgap of Urshela because they tried Torres. And then
you
that
had
kind of failed.
Glaber, IKF, and Urshela. Yeah, those were the three, and none of them were solid.
No, but I mean,
comment from FJ. Yankees pass on big free agent shortstops to keep Volpe. He'll get an extension before Wells.
Well, Cashman does have that. He does show loyalty to players that he favors, and then other guys he likes to play the yo-yo with. And whether you like it or not, and that is true. There's the facts there, because I mean, remember people were clamoring about getting Correa or getting Seager, or you name the shortstop, and Cashman was like, no, I got prospects. And then Volpe came and he stole the starting job from out of spring training from Peraza when those two battled it out. And then, they kind of gave him the keys to the kingdom. So why would you kind of take it away from him?
Yep. And another comment from Max. Ken, if they don't, the season's over with. So maybe we should stop broadcasting and just say the hell with it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is that, a lot of their peers, and Volpe and Wells are getting locked up, extended on these 8, 6, or, in Witt's case, a 14, 15-year deal, which kind of crazy in my mind, but
well, if you look at the Yankees as far as budgeting goes, even before the season begins, our salary is sitting at 281 million. So we're already into the second level. Everyone talks about how much money is coming off the books. Well, it's not that much damn money.
No.
And extending these players could limit our ability to bring other folks in.
Yeah, I mean,
right now we've got Kyle Tucker that'll be a free agent, and it looks like his bag is going to be 600 mil. If Spencer Jones is able to make it up to the major leagues next year, no need for Kyle Tucker.
Right, and then you got Murakami from Japan. He's supposed to get posted in January, and the Yankees may not get him, or most likely probably won't get him. But you know that they're gonna use the Yankees brand to drive up the post for the Dodgers and for the whatever West Coast teams, the Padres, the Giants, or the Mariners.
We have and this off season, we're going to have to replace Goldschmidt because I don't seriously believe that he's going to be re-signed. The Yankees are going to look for a permanent third baseman if we don't pick somebody up at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Ryan. You want to go into the season with a decrepit DJ LeMahieu, Oswaldo Cabrera, Dom Smith, or Ben Rice?
Well, let's see. Dom Smith played first base during spring training and looked like ass.
Right.
So he's definitely not an option. Are they wanting to drop the hammer with Rice? Possibly. Keeping costs down.
Yeah.
I
mean, and then again, we got TJ Rumfield too. I forgot of him.
Yep. So, I mean, there are in-house options. Yankee fans will be pissed that we don't go after Vlad Jr. Josh Naylor will be another available free agent.
Right.
As far as first baseman are concerned. But after his spectacular performance in defense in game 2, are you really going to trust him to be the guy to hold the bag at first?
No.
Long-term situation? Probably not.
And then with the
other free agents that may be out there, 2 of them from the Diamondbacks that I wouldn't mind seeing either one of them is Zach Gallen coming in and taking a rotation spot for us.
Right.
The other one is the Diamondbacks third baseman, Eugenio Suarez. Definitely a right-handed power bat. Definitely a plus defender. So hence, if the Diamondbacks don't lock it up, those are certainly going to be options for us to go after. Possibly cheaper options. Well, not Gallen, but Suarez.
Yeah, and then you see with Vlad Jr., the Blue Jays offered him $500 million, and he said that's too far away from what I want. So he's already signaling he wants Soto money. He wants a minimum of $600 million if he has a great season, and in the $700 million ballpark. And he hasn't always backed up his talk.
All right. Well, I know part of the deal with the Blue Jays, they had a lot of deferred money in his deal.
Right.
So Vlad's not looking.
You don't want the deferred money, but.
All right, John, can you quantify? Good, they can afford the payroll. What are you talking about exactly? Is that the Mets, or Red Sox, or Yankees? FJ, you've got a comment that you think that Vlad will be a Met. Vlad also plays third base, and the Dodgers are going to lose Muncy this offseason. I wouldn't be surprised for him to get a mega deal from LA with deferred money.
Yeah, but he probably. I mean, he already deferred. He's already declined deferred money. Would he really take it up there? He ain't gonna
a chance to win a ring, to play with some of the greatest hitters on the planet. If he gets Soto type money or Otani type money, he'll defer.
That is true. He probably would, but or his dad will probably talk him into it. Listen, son.
Well, I mean, if you look at careers for players that are advancing in years, getting a bag is important, but equally important is the opportunity to get a ring.
Oh yeah.
And for a player like Guerrero, who has been sitting in the basement with the Blue Jays damn near his entire career, that could be a tempting offer. And Murakami talking, he plays third base also, but the thing that I noticed with Murakami is he has one of those hybrid. He has power. He hits for power, but he strikes out a ton.
Yeah,
and how will he match up against American pitching?
Yeah, I mean, look at what's that guy on Boston? Oh, the guy that plays on Boston, the Japanese player that plays on Boston.
I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, Yoshida. I mean, he's more of a slap hitter, but he's got some pop. But I mean, his fielding went terrible, and now he's just pretty much designated hitter from when they don't have Dever doing it, or they put him near the wall. But and then Senga, or not Senga, but Sia Suzuki. He's kind of. It's been so with the Cubs. He's been pretty good fielder, but he's kind of just been. He hasn't fully translated all the hype that he coming out of Japan.
All right, and John, the Beagle Dad, is clarifying the statement I had a question about. The Mets can afford the payroll for Vlad, and so can Boston. So,
yeah, those
are
two clubs. I would see Vlad go to. I would see the Mets, Boston. I'm sure they'll use. His agent will use the Yankees to drive up the price, because that's what they all do. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees do make an offer just to kind of, test it. But I also see the Mariners kind of trying to get another power bat in there because they lost, Suarez, and they lost a few of those other guys.
The problem that Mariners are going to have still, including next year, is they're very limited on their available capital. So their ability to sign a big contract like that, I don't see in the universe.
No, and then with the Dodgers is with Vlad Jr., because he likes the attention. Would he be okay being on the Dodgers that's loaded with superstars with Otani, Betts, Freeman, Will Smith, and
Oscar Hernandez,
and yeah. I mean,
it'd be an impressive lineup on paper, that's for sure.
Oh no doubt it would. I mean, it's already impressive, but it's like you really have to be a selfless. You have to have some sort of selflessness to play on a super team like that. You know, you got to be able to check your ego at the door to a degree.
And comment from FJ: if the Red Sox signed Vlad, they could lose Devers.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Because I mean, Devers was already mad with Bregman. They signed Bregman, and then they were like, "Yeah, hey Devers, Rafi, you're gonna have to do some DHing because Bregman's gonna play third."
Well, some people can hit in the DH slot and do well, and there are some that can't.
Yeah,
I mean, Devers this season is a big donut for, let's see, at least 18 with 15 strikeouts. Of course, when he faces the Yankees, he'll hit 400 and be banging home runs like the shit's going out of style. But
oh yeah, but I mean, he won't have Cole to be like, "Hey, yeah, ding."
But Devers just signed a 10-year, $300 million deal. I think we're in season 3 of that. See,
yeah.
What team is going to want to be able to take on a $30 million AAV contract in the short term for a long term deal for a guy who is an adequate fielding third baseman, has some pop? There are very few teams on that spectrum, I think, that you would look at.
Yeah, and most teams,
and the Yankees aren't one of them.
Yeah, but also most of the teams now are struggling with keeping their or figuring out their broadcast deals and other different types of revenue thing. So that comes into play, like the Padres and the Mariners, and I think the Rangers, even to a degree, they're having issues with their having to renegotiate with the network that carry their games.
Yeah, it was Bally Sports. Bally Sports collapsed and ended up filing for bankruptcy, and they had contracts with at least a dozen major league teams, and that affected them last year. Rangers more so because they couldn't re-sign players because they didn't have the available cash. Diamondbacks were actually one of those teams that Bally Sports ducked out on. So
right. So yeah, it's not every team can have their own network like the Yankees.
We are coming up to an hour on the broadcast. So we're going to close it up here in a couple of minutes. I want to put out for y'all that I will go live tomorrow, probably about 1 in the afternoon or so, to do a pregame assessment for the upcoming Pirates series. Maybe a half hour, maybe an hour, depending on how much participation we have, how many people show up, and whatnot. But I'll put the information out if you can't make it at the time because you're at work or you got other stuff going on. Yeah. No worries. Catch it later if you like. For those of you here, hit the like if you like the content today. Subscribe. I believe everyone's subscribed. Recommend this channel to friends that you think may gain value from it. I appreciate all y'all's support, and want to thank you for the commentaries that you guys have put in. Chat has been good, very active, and I appreciate that. And with that being said, you got any last comments, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, we got to just have more consistent at bats and be more patient at the plate. Other than that, I mean, I'm not too worried about it right now. because it's early on the season. We're still above 500. So, yeah, I mean.
All right. And my last thought is I believe that the Yankees can avoid the sweep. I think we're going to see something good out of Carrasco with bullpen support. I believe that we could possibly take advantage of Merrill Kelly's lack of velocity. And the bats could come alive. It'd be a nice thing to see before the Pittsburgh series.
Yeah.
And I will end with let's go Yankees.
Let's go Yankees.
All right. Have a great day. Appreciate y'all's support.